What's happening, everybody? I'm Anarka Akaza. Welcome back to another album review video, and today we're going to be looking at one of the most legendary VA comps from the Philippine underground hardcore movement from back in the early 80s. Rescue Ladders and Human Barricade. This is the first. This is the first. Not the first ever Philippine punk rock cassette or Philippine punk rock record. No. This came out back in 1985 on Twisted Red Cross. It's TRC01. That's the catalog number. Twisted Red Cross, just to give you a history of it, it was founded by Tommy Tanchenko back in 1984. Tommy Tanchenko was a guitarist at Third World Chaos. Third World Chaos put out the very first 12-inch punk rock record, New Move Forever. We will get to that much later. But this Rescue Ladder Human Barricades cassette tape is part of a 4-part series: Rescue Ladders 1, Rescue Ladders 2, Rescue Ladders 3, and Rescue Ladders 4 that came out in 2018. Yeah, this... Where do I even begin with this? Now, obviously, I do not own a copy of this cassette tape. It is an extremely hard cassette tape to come across. Someone's got a good picture of it here, though. When I was in the Philippines last year, I almost got a copy of it. I almost bought, I guess, a reissue or something like that. I don't know. There was a guy who was wanting to sell it to me for 3,000 pesos, $60, which at the time I was like, no, man, I'm not paying $60 for a cassette tape. Cassettes aren't worth that much. Looking back at it, I really wish I would have spent $60 on this cassette tape, because he had this one. He showed me a picture of it. He had this one right here, which this is the original Twisted Red Cross version. There's a handful of other bootleg editions. There's some transparent ones. There's, different ones that other record labels have come out with, but this is the one he had, and I actually believe that due to the rarity of this cassette tape that it probably would be worth 3,000 pesos, so I do 100% regret not purchasing that from him. But hey, you know what? There's always tomorrow. There's always a new day to find it, and I will keep on the hunt. But anyway, so here's the bands on this, and I've listened to it digitally. You can find it on YouTube. You can find a cassette rip of it on YouTube, and also on some blogs. There's a way to download it. Urban Bandits, Woods, Betrayed, Deadbeat, Private Stock, Sex Militants, and Public Scandal. Those are the bands we're going to be focusing on during this review. Now, I've obviously done a review over Urban Bandits Independence Day, their 1985 album that was originally released on Twisted Red Cross and then reissued on vinyl CD with some extra stuff. But I talked about that in the Independence Day review. There is also Woods that have actually made a pretty good career out of their music. Arms Talk 85, Oplan Cajon in 94, At Nakalimutan Ang Dios 94, Jara 1996, Nakaupo Sapusa 97, and they did a split with Chico Pira of the Jerks back in 1989. And although they don't really have any new albums today, they still play shows today, and I'm actually friends with one of the members of the band. Next up is Betrayed. Well, if you're watching this video, then you saw my Betrayed unboxing video. Yes, my friends, and you see there the green lit up. I own Why Must Everything Involve Politics 2018, the self-released Betrayed album on CD. It is fucking amazing. I highly suggest giving it a listen. Damn, it is good. Betrayed 86 is also amazing. I've never heard again. But you know what? There's always tomorrow. Which a little quickie here. So, Boyers of Betrayed, Boyet Miguel, informed me that this black Betrayed reissue that came out in 1994 is in fact fake. This is a bootleg. Although it says UARM, it is, it looks official. According to the band, there's two versions. This right here is actually a reissue on Twisted Red Cross. The original Betrayed self-titled album came out on DMZ Records, and Tommy Tanchenko of Twisted Red Cross reissued it. I will get to that in another review, but I'm just giving you a little history on these bands here. But yeah, I found that to be pretty interesting. So we go back to Twisted Red Cross, because I don't want to keep pressing the back button there, to Rescue Ladders and Barricades. Next up, we have Deadbeat. The only other place you can find them is on Brave New World Live, and they're on a couple of other VA comps. But Deadbeat, Sex Militants, and Public Scandal all have something in common. Rescue, Light of Human Barricades, and Brave New World Live, as well as potentially a couple other VA comps. And the only time you're ever going to hear these bands, well, Sex Militants is actually still playing live shows today, and I think I've seen Deadbeat on a couple of flyers, 2018, 2017, and I'm not sure about Public Scandal. I don't know too much about them, but I do know the Sex Militants are definitely playing live. I think in June they're going to be playing with George Before the Idiot, so stay tuned for that, Filipinos. But yeah, this is a really good chance to get to hear some Deadbeat, some Sex Militants, and some Public Scandal. Private Stock, Rock and Roll Machine, an early demo of the song that is also featured on Hype School that came out on Payola Records, which is owned by Mail's brother Butch. Payola Records, they released Hype School in 1986, where you got to hear a more studio version of Rock and Roll Machine. This version's raw. This version is raw, and I'm going to get to that in a moment. Down here at the bottom, the cassette tape ends with Future Generation by Private Stock. Another raw cut. So, now that I've said that, let me explain what this album sounds like. I know in the Independence Day review I went through each song and I analyzed the lyrics and all that. I'm not going to do that for this one because I want you to actually go through and listen to this yourself and explore it yourself. I'm just going to tell you how it makes me feel, and I'm going to look at it from another perspective. So, Modern Fishballs, obviously it appears on Independence Day. With No Excuses, it appears on Armstock. Betrayed by You appears on 86, their 86 album. Deadbeat, they don't have an album. Private Stock, Hype School, and that's where Rock and Roll Machine and Future Generation appear. And Hoy appears on Independence Day. We Just Like Before, I think that appears on either Armstock or Opal and Cajon. But the versions of the songs of these bands that appear on this Rescue Ladder 1 cassette tape are what I call one take, raw, and just furiously just uncut. Like Tommy said, go! They just strummed it, they played it, stop, you know. They're just, this right here is the best of a demo, the best of the raw takes you can get of these songs. Modern Fishballs, No Excuses, Betrayed by You, Rock and Roll Machine, Urban Assault, Hoy, We Just Like Before, Future Generation. This is just the raw demo versions of it all, and they're so damn good. Go listen to it on YouTube. You will love this, which that leads into the next thing that I was going to say about that. I've only known about this cassette tape for about a year now. When I moved to the Philippines on May 31st, 2018, I had no idea about this. It took me a couple months. And when I knew of the Urban Bandits. I knew of the Urban Bandits, so I had heard Modern Fishballs and I heard Hoy, but I didn't know about the rest of these bands around that time. And my friends, you don't need to have lived back in the 80s to appreciate and just have this explode your mind. Let me tell you firsthand, I listened to Rescue Ladders and Human Barricades, and it almost had the same, it had the same effect on me of when I was a kid and I first heard Dead Kennedy's Bad Religion, Minor Threat, DOA for the first time. When I first heard hardcore punk, this was out of left fucking field. I had never heard anything like that before, but I know you might be like, wait. How does that relate to the same? Because obviously I grew up on hardcore punk. I didn't know the Philippines had a scene. I mean, I know the Urban Bandits, but I didn't know about Twisted Red Cross, Still Ill, Delusion of Terror. I didn't know about Tommy Tanchenko. I didn't know about Brave New World. I didn't know about any of that shit. And this cassette tape, which is why I wanted to do a review of it, this cassette tape, which I listened to the digital version on YouTube, this cassette tape that you're looking at right here, this changed everything. Like, when I fucking heard this, I immediately wrote them bands down. I did all the research I could on them. I used Discogs, and I mean, today I'm friends with most of these bands. But, oh my god, this is how I learned about Philippine punk rock music. With your big shout out to my buddy Noel Punk Shop Mutilated Noise. He is the one who actually helped me to, he gave me a lot of information on these bands and the history and all that, because I did find these, and I'm going to show you where I found them at. This blog spot here, this Brave New World blog spot, is actually where I originally was able to hear this music, and I put it on my Vita, and digitally that's where it is. Yeah, this, whoever the fuck is running this, they they've done their homework. These aren't all Philippine bands. These are bands from all over Asia. But down here it is. Rescue Ladders and Human Barricades, 1985 Twisted Red Cross, which this right here is actually the reissue, as you can see with this yellow, with the white circle there. It says reissue on it. Yeah, that's a clear cassette. You can compare that to the, oh, oops, I didn't want to do that. You can compare that to the brown cassette. So there's the original, right? There's the clear. Original, clear. Obviously, in the clear version, there's no Twisted Red Cross flag. The flag's completely gone, but it still resembles the same idea. And then the clear version here's got the lyrics and all that, the insert, which I don't know if that's an official reissue or not, because I haven't been told that there is an official reissue, that there's only bootleg reissues. But you know what? If you have this, that's still awesome to own a physical piece of Philippine punk rock history. The first volume of Rescue Letters and Human Barricade compilations, and the very first tape to be issued by Twisted Red Cross back in '84. It actually came out in '85. But Tommy Tanchenko, the man who made it possible, still active now in the music business, managing artists like Kitchenero, Barbie Almedos, Andro Voice, and some other pop mainstream acts. Good debut recording for those bands: Urban Bandits and Betrayed, song Smoke, very snotty, should I say, Maquit. Songs by Deadbeat, Private Stock, songs that sound like minimalist, stripped down 50s rock band, definitely a true classic. And you can, the tape is actually a reissue from '94, as he said, so there's that. You can download it right there if you want to, but yeah, I just wanted to show you guys. There's a picture of the Twisted, there's a picture right there of the original artwork. It's in inserts, but I'll leave a link in the description where you guys can come download that if you want to listen to it. It's actually a pretty good, the download version that person has uploaded, that is a much better version than what's on YouTube right now. And over here, yeah, there it is, right there. It's a much better version than that. But this cassette is just a fiery piece of just Philippine history. I mean, I said it earlier, when I first heard this, it blew my fucking mind. I had no idea the Philippines had such punk rock. I mean, I knew, I had a feeling the Philippines had some punk rock bands, because almost every country's got punk bands, but such explosive, such full of anger, such, I can't even come up with the right words for this. It just shook me when I heard Rescue Letters and Human Barricades, and then looked into Twisted Red Cross, and I found out, holy hell, there's like 16 or 17 originals, and then the fourth one came out in 2018. Which when I first found Rescue Letters and Human Barricades, this didn't exist. This came out, and the fourth one came out in October 2018. I'm actually the one that put this on there because I own it, bitches. I own that. Thank you to the Punk Connection for that. Tommy Tanchenko's awesome. But Rescue Letters and Human Barricades won. Then we got, where'd Fatal Response go? I lost Fatal Response, son of a bitch. There it is. Rescue Letters and Human Barricades 2, Fatal Response CO6. I'll review that later. I actually own that physically, not the cassette, the vinyl. Third Bombardment. You'll see Private Stock and Betrayed, and a couple bands show up multiple times during this, but Rescue Letters and Human Barricades 01 is just a magnificent hardcore cassette. It's a true introduction to Philippine punk rock music from the beginnings. I mean, Ethnic Patience, Ocean Zoo, and all them, you know, they, I think Ocean Zoo released Animal Party. Let me look that up real quickly. That was before this. Ocean Zoo, Animal Party, right? Yeah, there it is. So this was technically the very first ever Philippine punk rock 7-inch, Ocean Zoo Animal Party, released in 1983. Good luck finding this. That shit is hand-drawn, as you can see there. That is hand-drawn. Technically, it is under the category of new wave, but from those who have heard it, say it is definitely the very first punk rock 7-inch. That title used to go to Third World Chaos's, well, their 7-inch title Chaos, but I don't know, it's up for argument which one was technically first, and I obviously wasn't there. Yeah, this one right here is what they say was the first, was either the first, but I mean, this is considered punk. The other one's considered new wave, so I guess it's all an opinion of who you ask, and I've never heard Ocean Zoo before. I know someone who played an Ocean Zoo, but I've never personally heard Ocean Zoo before, so I couldn't tell you what they sound like. I've heard their, I own New Move for Error. I don't own the 7-inch right here. I'm not that fucking lucky. But, yeah, those were of the first Philippine punk rock 7 inches. As I said earlier in this video, Third World Chaos released the first 12-inch New Move for Error, but Tommy Tanchenko, my good friend, he issued the very first Philippine hardcore rescue letters to the Barricades, the first hardcore various artist compilations that would give you, back in 1985, a taste of what is to come in the coming years, which you might be wondering, 85? Where the fuck is Dead Ends at, man? Dead Ends is none. You got Dead Beat, where's Dead Ends? They released, Complaints the very same year. I don't know where Dead Ends is. They're just on this. They're on Fatal Response, but they're not on this one. Which, I kind of do wish Dead Ends was on this. Maybe they didn't have anything recorded at the time because, you got a taste of Urban Bandits, you got a taste of Woods, you got a taste of Betrayed and Private Stock before those bands had their material out. You got a taste of what was to come of those bands in just the next couple of years, or for that matter, the same year. So yeah, it would have been pretty cool to hear Dead Ends on this. This is speaking from the perspective of 1985. So that's what I'm looking at this through two different perspectives. 2019 looking back, 2019 hearing it for the first time and not being from there, and also from the perspective of a punk rocker or just a random person who happened to pick it up in 1985, because you gotta look at it that way too. Pretend it's 1985 and you've been in the scene since day one. You were there at the first or second Brave New World concerts. You've already seen most, if not all, of these bands live, and suddenly Tommy Tanchenko's like, hey, so I'm putting Urban Bandits, Woods, Betrayed, Deadbeat, Private Stock, Sex Militant, Public Scandal, and all them. I'm gonna put them on this cassette tape. Some not live recordings, but I'm going to bring them into the studio, and we're going to put this cassette together so that we can make something happen. Because this cassette tape right here is what paved the way for the future of Philippine hardcore, Philippine punk rock music for decades to come. And how these bands, I know like hell they inspired bands from other countries. I know they did. I mean, I'm inspired by them. I really am. My favorite band on this, that's kind of hard to decide. I'm struck between Urban Bandits, Private Stock, and Betrayed. I'm stuck between those three. I love Woods, but I'm struck between Urban Bandits, Private Stock, and Betrayed. Hype's Cool is one of my favorite albums of all time. Urban Bandits, Independence Day, I already talked about that one. It's one of my favorites from Asia. Giant Idiots, Fascinating World of Garbage came out in '86, and it's not featured on here. But they're also Giant Idiots and Dead Ends are not featured on Rescue 1. They're featured on Rescue 2, which Rescue 2 came out before Giant Idiots. But we'll get to that one later, guys. But I just wanted to make a quick little review and talk about Rescue Letters and Human Barricades, Twisted Red Cross Catalog Number 1, released back in 1985 on Twisted Red Cross! Because it is just that fucking important. And no, before I go, check out the artwork here. Got the Dolby Digital up there. Got the Twisted Red Cross. The green background. The punks up there with it making the Human Barricade. We got some ladders thrown over the Human Barricade. It's fucking awesome. Here's the liner notes. Modern Fishball, Turbo Band is written by, and it shows you who they are. Goddamn, I wish I could own this. I really wish I could own this. Produced by producer Tommy Tanchenko. Produced by Kumbela Changes, Hot Shot, and Paralyzed Body. Recorded at AD and AD Recording Studio, Philippines. Copyright 1985. So, yeah, it says right there on the cassette, 1985. So I don't know why so many people say this came out in 1984. This came out in 1985. It says it literally right there on the cassette tape itself. 1985. So. And I did correct that because that said 84 before too. So. Anyway, guys, I'm Anarka. Akaza. Thank you so much for watching this review video of Rescue Letters and Human Barricades 01. I will review Rescue Ladders, the Barricades, Two Fatal Response, the Bombardment, the Fourth Order, and everything on TRC, because Twisted Red Cross is one of my favorite labels as of now. I love all the bands on Twisted Red Cross. Shout out to all my Filipino punk rock friends, my boy Pilipinas, and Dos Vidania.